But the way it usually works, and so you can imagine now what happens with a kid who has trouble sitting still and paying attention in the classroom. You know, he may try as hard as he can, but he knows that he's still not going to be able to sit still and do his 2 + 2 at his desk like Susie can, even if he tries his very best. And if he makes one mistake, he goes from green to yellow. He makes one more mistake and he goes from yellow to red, and now it's a bad day. And so by the time these kids get to be about 7 or 8 years old, they usually figure this out, and then they're mad, okay? And then what they do is they say, okay, you know what? I can't win this game by your rules. I can't win this game by the rules that we're playing with right now. So I'm going to make up my own rules. Now I'm going to win by not doing. And guess what? You can't make me. And then they're right. They can win by not doing. They can be successful by saying, this is stupid, I'm not doing this work. They can make themselves a success by purposefully disrupting the classroom and making a mockery of it. We most all know Bart Simpson. He's a classic example of how that kind of behavior is created. Bart's probably a little ADHD and maybe a little dyslexic or something too. He can't be like his sister, who's so academically perfect. He sure doesn't want to be like his dad. So he has found a way that he can be successful, right, by disrupting the environment. So, but we don't really want, Bart Simpson is funny on TV, but we don't really want him at the dinner table all the time when we have guests, and we don't want him in our classrooms either. I get asked a lot, where does oppositional defiant disorder come from? I think my little story about Bart Simpson and what happens when those kids start to figure out they can't win by the existing rules, that they're going to go from green to yellow or yellow to red, and by making just a couple mistakes. That's where oppositional defiant disorder comes from. That's when, you know, if the kid's getting more sad puppies than happy cats, they're eventually going to get mad and they're going to change the rules. Their objective is going to become one of not doing what you ask, because that's how they win, because that's how they're successful. So they form what's called a failure identity instead of a success identity. If we're working with older kids, we might want to do something a little bit different. We might want to do, we could print off some currency. We can make copies of bills or use Monopoly money or play money. And if I've made a menu of things that they can earn, so let's say they love playing video games. What I can do then is, rather than waiting until they've misbehaved and then taking away their video games, and you guys know how that plays out in real life. You've got a kid that's getting in trouble and then you take away all their stuff and their behavior doesn't get better, it gets worse. So what we want to do is we want to control their access to stuff that they enjoy, and then we can sell them time with their video games. So let's say every buck is worth a minute with video games, and I've got some bills printed off here, and I'm wanting you guys to be gentle with your bodies, follow directions, and stay in your seats there. And I can say, Jack, I like the way you're being gentle with your body there. Miles, good job sitting in your seat.